And once again, here's your host, Tom Duggan.
That's what they tell me. All right. Welcome back to the Paying Attention program. My name's Tom Duggan. That really is all you really should need to know. This is the Paying Attention program. I want to thank Two Guys Smoke Shop, Studio 21 Cafe, which is where we tape this live feed every week on Thursdays at 2 o'clock. Is it really Thursday already?
Oh, my God.
It's like I thought we just did a show like yesterday. Ira Keltz is one of our correspondents that we brought on at the very beginning. He came to my office and said he wanted to be part of the show, and I was trying to think, like, how do we work him in? And he was telling me all the stuff that he does because he actually works at another TV station. What is it? It's Tewksbury Cat? Westford Cats. And so I went on to Westford Cat's website, and I started looking at some of his reports, and I thought, wow, this stuff is like really educational stuff. If that's what he's good at, that's what we should bring him in to do. And he said, yeah, I'd love to do it. So we're gonna keep giving him a segment we're gonna try and get you sponsored too at some point, right? Okay. So that way you can start making some money too.
Besides my AA sponsor? Or?
Right, yeah, no.
Okay.
So if you want to sponsor the Paying Attention show or just a segment of the Paying Attention show, like Ira's segment or the new segment, please instant message me on Facebook, send me an email at valleypatriot@aol.com, or you can call me. Our phone number's on our Facebook page. Why don't we just turn it over to Ira? What are you talking about today? Are you talking about this? I got this thing from Fred Meredith that sandwiches cause global warming. Is that your topic today?
That's not my topic today, but I was fascinated when I found that out today.
Yeah, I should have talked about it during my rant.
Well, next week we can do that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Okay, this week we're talking about the flu. You can't, all over the news today, whether it's network news, cable news, TV, newspapers, the flu is everywhere. And this year is especially bad. And now, normally the flu tends to particularly affect older people, but also very young children, pregnant women, people with long-term health conditions like asthma or heart disease are also vulnerable to complications from the flu like pneumonia, which is a real killer as well. Now, nationwide this flu season, there have been 30 pediatric flu deaths. That's 30 kids who've died from the flu. And 10 of those happened in just 1 week.
Wait, so 30 kids died from the flu?
Nationally, yeah. And that's all in
just the flu? Like, it wasn't like they had something else and the flu complicated it? Or do we know?
They're calling it a flu death.
Okay,
so that was
all right.
Primary cause.
Fair enough.
And in fact, the week of January 13th, 2 weeks ago, 10 of those 30 died in 1 week.
Wow.
Now, let's talk about what the flu is. The flu is a contagious respiratory illness caused by the influenza viruses. It can cause mild to severe illnesses and at times can lead to death. Now, the best way to prevent the flu is by getting a flu shot each year.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Sure.
I always advise people not to get the flu shot.
Okay.
I always get calls. In fact, I just turned 50, so I saw my doctor on Tuesday. Very first thing he asked me is, have you had your flu shot yet? And I said, no, and I'm not going to. Am I wrong about this? I mean, why am I taking a flu shot that could actually give me the flu, even though maybe in most people it doesn't? You know, my luck, right? With my luck, I'll be the one guy that gets it, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong about that?
Well, the flu vaccine doesn't contain any live virus. So the virus is dead. So technically the flu vaccine cannot give you the flu. However, they a year ahead of time, they kind of predict what strains of the flu the vaccine is going to have for that following year. So this year, the dominant strain is called the H3N2 flu. And last year, that vaccine was about 32% effective against that strain. So, you still got 2/3 chance of getting it, but 1/3 chance that you won't. And the way you feel when you have the flu, I don't know if you've had the flu before.
I've had it.
It kicks your butt.
Yeah.
So,
I don't get sick very often. It's probably been 4 years since I've been sick. But when I get sick, I'm down for 4 days. Like, I'm in bed for 4 days.
Absolutely. So there's been 1,200 laboratory-confirmed cases of the flu reported to the Massachusetts Department of Public Health since the start of October, which is well above the number normally seen at this time of year. In fact, last year at this time, there were only 300 cases reported to the state. Now, those are lab-confirmed cases. Not everyone goes to the doctor.
Right.
They suffer at home with the flu. But if you go there and get tested, it gets reported to the state.
So, like with any number we give on this show, it's usually a lot more because we're only talking about reported numbers.
Correct. In fact, New Hampshire says there's been 5 flu-related deaths among adults so far this season. But even New Hampshire is not considered widespread in the state. And Massachusetts only reports pediatric deaths attributed to the flu. So they don't even report adult flu. Sometimes they do pneumonia mostly, which can be caused or a side effect of having the flu. So how can you tell if you have the flu or if you have a cold? Now, there's some ways to tell. If you have a cold, you generally have...
If you can't get out of bed.
Can't get out of bed, yeah. So if you have a cold, you usually have a cough and sore throat, you're sneezing, you have a stuffy nose. That's a cold. If you have the flu, you have a fever, typically over 100, 101. You also have a cough and sore throat, but your body aches and you have headaches and you're tired, just feel like crap.
That's how I feel every day.
Well, let's see. Maybe you got the flu. You also have a stuffy nose and you have problems breathing as well. Also signs of the flu. Now, when is it serious enough to actually go to the hospital with the flu? So in children, here are some of the emergency warning signs. And you go on the next slide. In children, if your kids are breathing really quickly or have trouble breathing, if they have a bluish skin color, if they're not drinking enough fluids, or they're kind of groggy or not waking up, not interacting with you, if your kid's really irritable and doesn't want to be held, or if they have the symptoms but they get better, but then they come back with a fever and worse cough, you should take the kid to the hospital. I mean, because it is a deadly disease, so you really got to be careful. So those are with kids. With adults, it's a little different. You can have difficulty breathing or shortness of breath, pain or pressure in the chest or abdomen, sudden dizziness, confusion, severe or persistent vomiting. And then again, if the symptoms go away but come back worse, you got the flu and you should definitely go get checked out. If you get to the doctor within 48 hours of your symptoms, they can give you antiviral medication like Tamiflu or something that can help minimize the effects. But if after 48 hours, you're pretty much on your own.
So you see all these TV commercials for products for the flu, right? All these kind of flu over-the-counter stuff. Do any of them work? Because in my experience, I've tried just about all of them when I get sick. And other than NyQuil, which kind of knocks you out so that you don't feel that you're in pain, otherwise, I don't know any of them that work. Yeah,
it's typically to treat the symptoms of the flu. So it'll help you. You can take Tylenol or aspirin to reduce the fever. You can take NyQuil to knock you out and help you get rest. It doesn't cure the flu. The antiviral stuff that can help early on, particularly you just kind of go through.
So the only thing that really gets you over the flu is just time, right? It has to cycle through your body.
That's true. You have to rest. Now, how long should you stay home if you're sick? So
as long as your boss will let you.
Pretty much, yeah. So the CDC recommends you stay home for at least 24 hours after your fever's gone, except to go to the doctor or for other things you have to do and no one else can do for you. So, you're taking Tylenol and your fever's gone, that doesn't count. You have to be off the aspirin or Tylenol for at least 24 hours with no fever before you should head out. So stay home, don't go to school, don't travel, don't go shopping, don't go out because you're going to spread the flu.
Yeah, because you don't want to give it to me.
Oh, God, no.
Right?
It's miserable.
So if you have the flu, stay home because Tom doesn't want to get it.
So what should you do while you're sick? Basically, stay away from everybody. Just go home, go to bed, rest, drink plenty of fluids.
Yeah, play Candy Crush on your computer until you're done.
Yeah, absolutely. If you do go out, say you go to the doctor, they have face masks available. Wear one because your cough basically is spreading this flu virus. Wash your hands constantly, to keep the flu from spreading to others, especially if you're at home with your family. Now, to practice healthy habits, flu viruses are spread mainly through droplets. When they cough or sneeze or talk, spit comes out. And these droplets can land in the mouths or noses of people that are nearby, or less often, a person might also get the flu by touching a surface, like in the bathroom or something that has the flu virus on it.
So you can pretty much get it anywhere.
Pretty much.
From anywhere.
Exactly, you can. But most healthy adults may be able to give the flu to others even one day before their own symptoms develop. And up to 5 days after becoming sick, you're still contagious. So even before you know it, you can.
So if you're making out with a hot redhead and she's got it, pretty good chance you've got it.
Chances are, but it's totally worth it, isn't it?
All right. Well, of course it is.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So let's see.
I'll spend 3 days in bed with the flu if I can make out with a hot redhead any day of the week. Sign me up.
All right. Now, what I want to show you next is this map.
So you can't throw him off. I can throw anything at him, and he's such a flippin' professional. He just keeps going. That's awesome.
Well, one track mind here. So this is a map of the U.S. in October. Now, this is a dramatic thing. We're going to kind of scroll through in just a moment. It's going to show you right now in October, up on the screen, you see a lot of like beige and tan, a little bit of white. This is sporadic flu cases around in that first week of October. Let's scroll through to the next one. And continue about every 2 seconds or so. You're seeing more and more cases. Keep going, Stu. You see the yellow and the orange. Those are regional. You see the brown. That's widespread. Keep going, Stu. So now we're up to like November, and now we're getting into December. See how the orange spread over the entire country. Keep going. This is the end of December, on Christmas time, and finally the first 2 weeks of January. It is over the entire country, widespread. There's Maine, there's Hawaii, Guam even is added in. So this is what we're looking at, and it is everywhere. So, basically, the number of deaths that have been reported, this is for flu and pneumonia, which kind of go hand in hand because of the respiratory aspect of the flu. In December alone, December of 2017, New Hampshire, 56 people died from the flu or pneumonia. And 346 people died in Massachusetts. Again, just that 1 month in December from flu and pneumonia.
And you don't think of the flu as being something that would kill people, but it does.
If you get it, I mean, you see the stories. People die within like 2 days of getting it. And, some people are bodybuilders or, marathon runners. Those are the ones you hear about. But it could affect anybody. And these strains are very serious. So some steps to protect your family. Basically, you want to cover your nose and mouth. You want to, wash your hands constantly with soap and water. Try to avoid touching your eyes, your mouth, your nose. Germs spread this way. Stay home and keep your workspaces clean. Use those antibacterial wipes and avoid close contact with sick people. And those are the keys.
So now, if I could do what you're doing with these slides when I'm doing my rant, I would actually remember what I was supposed to talk about, and my rant would have been longer.
Well, you can come back next week and do even more. So we're going to close this segment on with a short video that was produced by Mass General Hospital featuring the top 10 reasons to get your flu shot.
Did you produce this?
No, I didn't.
Oh, all right.
Number 10. Watch the Patriots go on a run. Not your nose. Get a flu shot.
Number 9. Save the congestion for Boston's traffic. Get a flu shot.
Number 8. The weakness in your knees isn't love. It's the flu. Get a flu shot.
Number 7. Fever, chills, and vomiting. Take the bucket off your list. Get a flu shot.
Number 6. Spend your time watching the Super Bowl, not the toilet bowl. Get a flu shot.
Number 5. No one likes to Netflix and ill. Get a flu shot.
Number 4. Don't wait to help our patients. Get a flu shot today.
Number 3. Enjoy your earn time. Don't cough it up. Get a flu shot.
2. Saturday Night Fever is for the dance floor, not the bathroom floor. Get your flu shot.
And the top reason for you to get a flu shot? Have you heard? If everybody gets a flu shot, then we can generate enough immunity so that we can protect each other. That includes our patients, our colleagues, ourselves, the whole herd. So what's not to like? Get it.
No, I don't know. I still think I'm not buying it.
People could, could be some government conspiracy to implant viruses into you, like a kill switch or something. But if there's a 30% chance that it works, I think it's worth it.
I think I like my body, and I think I trust my body. Well, and if I get the flu, then you're developing antibodies for next time around. And if it puts me down for 3 or 4 days, and it's happened sometimes during deadline, which really sucks. But if it happens, it happens, and I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and I don't want to discourage people from getting the flu just because I don't. But for me, just putting that stuff in my body just doesn't seem right.
Nobody's forcing you. It's
not yet anyway.
It's a personal exactly.
Right.
Good point. In hospitals, they're basically mandatory to everyone who works there needs to get a flu shot or have a valid excuse not to get one, medically or religiously. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you can't work there. So they take it seriously, the hospitals.
How do you choose these topics? I mean, you've come now in 5 shows with 5 really amazing topics that were extremely educational. I think the Kratom one was amazing. How do you come up with these topics? I mean, it just seems like whatever you're talking about, a week later, everyone else is talking about it.
Well, I kind of sneak them in. I watch TV. I'm on the news every day. I found the sandwiches are causing global warming.
Sandwiches cause global warming. That's the best. That's awesome.
It's talking about like the higher impact to our carbon footprint or the meats and cheeses from the cows and the animals and the refrigeration trucks and ham and cheese at home, lowest carbon footprint.
So. I'd love to do a segment on global warming someday. I think the whole thing is such a flippin' hoax. Do we have time? Do I have time to do this? I really kind of don't. But it just seems to me, should I do this or not? Should we save this for another show?
Whatever you want.
It just seems to me with all this global warming stuff is in order to believe what you've been told, you've got to believe like 5 things that are unknowable, right? You've got to believe that the globe is warming. And since we're only measuring 1/1 millionth of the time this Earth has been here, it's kind of like taking a teaspoon out of the ocean and doing tests on it and thinking you know what the temperature is going to be like off the coast of Japan. You just don't, right? But you have to believe that it is warming. Then you have to believe that it's bad that it's warming. How do we know that? How do we know that it would be bad? Maybe it would be good. The Earth has gone through ice ages and hot ages, and the Earth seems to be doing just fine.
One of the things that I saw also this past week was an article talking about how aerosol, when you're spraying things in the air, everyone's been telling us that's horrible for the environment. It's causing holes in the ozone layer. But the article said that if we stop using the aerosols, the temperature is going to raise another 1.5 degrees.
Right.
By stop using them. So it's all, who knows?
So you have to believe that the Earth is warming. You have to believe that it's bad that it's warming. Then you on top of those two things, you have to believe that it's man's responsibility, that it's caused by man, that it's warming and that it's bad, right? And then, in order to round out this trifecta of believing in global warming, you also have to believe that man can fix it.
Sure.
And every single one of those are completely unknowable, right? It's just not knowable. Like, you can't know that.
Yeah, let's shut down all the coal plants. Let's shut down all the oil fields.
Right.
That'll fix it.
I see this whole global warming thing as a global political move, because if you have a global crisis, you need a global body to work with all of these other countries to fix the global crisis. And what is their solution? What's the UN solution? The United States should give billions of dollars to other countries. Somehow that's going to stop global warming. It makes no sense. It's a political hoax. It's always been a political hoax. Now, having said that, please hold your emails. Don't email me because I said global warming is a hoax, because it is a hoax, all right? It's a hoax. It's a political hoax. But that doesn't mean that I don't believe in taking care of the environment, reducing pollution. I'm all for legislation that's going to reduce pollution. I'm all for finding companies that are illegally dumping in our rivers and streams and putting every one of those bastards in jail. I mean, I believe in helping the environment at the local level, but I'll tell you what, Ira, about 5 years ago, the Valley Patriot found out that there was leaking toxic chemicals in the water treatment plant in the city of Lawrence.
Horrible.
So we went down and we took pictures. And we had pictures of these big blue barrels with phosphorus white stuff streaming out of it and footprints, right? So we did this big story about this leaking toxic chemicals. I called every single environmental group I could find to get a quote, to see if they'd come down to a city council meeting and protest, to see if we couldn't, because the city wouldn't clean it up. Like, even after we reported on it, they didn't want to clean it up. And you had all these city workers that were working around this stuff and it possibly leaking into our water. We couldn't get anybody, not one, not MassPerg, not any of these hoax environmental groups. You know why? I couldn't even reach them on the phone. They were out protesting global warming. They were out holding signs as if global warming is going to go, oh, wait a minute, they're holding signs. That's it, I'm done. No more global warming for me, right? The environmental movement in this country only really seems to care about attacking big business and using global warming as a political weapon for their politics. Because if they really cared, they would have come to Lawrence when we had leaking toxic chemicals, when we found that the DPW was doing illegal dumping at the Shawshene River, when we found out that there was mercury being stored in a water treatment plant at the foot of Mount Vernon in Lawrence. Mercury. And when we blew that story out, again, we called all these organizations and we got crickets. They really just don't flipping care about the environment. If they did, everything is local. They would have been there. They would have been there to protest real mercury at a real water treatment plant. But instead, well, I'm going to go whole sides for global warming. Anyways, I know we get totally off topic, but
that's all right. What you need to do is actually take a thermometer and just actually break it open and put it on the street. Then everyone will go crazy.
Well, yeah, it'll be crazy. I think we should have all kinds of legislation to stop pollution, to clean our waterways, to clean our air, to have cleaner air. I believe in all of that stuff, but I don't have to believe in global warming for that.
Yeah, I'm all for cleaner air. Can you pass me a cigarette?
Oh, absolutely.
Just kidding. I'm just like
I'm contributing to global warming with my smoking and my farting, by the way. Apparently, that also hurts global warming. Cow farts, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when it's really warm, it's because of global warming. And when it's really cold, that's because of global warming too. Then when it's just regular nice, well, that's because of global warming. Hurricanes, global warming. Then we have a year no hurricanes, global warming. So the global warming alarmists, I call them Chicken Littles, they run around crying that the Earth's going to be destroyed if we don't change our light bulbs. And weak-minded people actually believe it. And every time I see one of these stories, I shake my head like, what the? well, how did this country, this is the greatest country in the world, with the best education system in the world, as bad as it is, and we still have people who are so stupid and weak-minded that they hear these things and they just believe them and then repeat them as if they're true.
Well, like sandwiches cause global warming.
Right, yeah, come on. Like sandwiches here, this is a story. Sandwiches cause global warming. You can't make that up.
It's not even the onion.
I couldn't have done, wait, it's not even the onion. I couldn't have done this if I tried. Ira, thank you. You did a great job today.
Tom.
I appreciate it. Before we bounce out, Mike, why don't you come up here for a quick second? I just want to spend 1 minute doing this.